today's video, we're going to talk about a B2B marketing strategy right here that will double your sales every time. Something I use on our own firm because it works so well as a number of our different clients, which we're partially responsible for. There's a little bit that we don't do here as an agency because it has nothing to do with advertising directly, but works to add to the advertising strategy that basically you're putting ads out there for people who have already contacted you to increase the number of people that are just going to say yes. So whereas most people are going to be focused on for their B2B company, what can you do to get more people attracted? What I'm telling you here, it's easier for you right now at least to just do more to get the people contacting you to close at a higher rate. So that instead of 1 out of 8 buy from you, you get 1 out of 4. And with relatively little money involved to get that kind of a result for your company. Or of which you can use to do a lot more advertising that you're doing now to go after customers that were too expensive to go after before, because now you're getting more out of each lead. Or just to be able to raise your pricing, which I'm also going to talk about. Because obviously if you can make your offer more attractive to the people that contact you, they're willing to pay more as well. So with that said, I'm going to tell you about all this, how to actually replicate this whole thing for your company, and then also just a little bit about the other companies we've done it for, which is an outsourced CFO service, a digitizing service where they take your physical documents, turn them into a digital version so they can be searchable, and also with our agency as well, how we use this and apply this to our own agency, our PPC agency, to get the same results for us as well, so you understand how this is practically applied and better understand how it's going to be applied to your exact business. So with that said, getting into it, B2B leads, okay, so regardless if you're talking about product or service sales, are generally very expensive to generate. Obviously more so for services, usually in the hundreds of dollars each per lead, sometimes thousands of dollars per lead, depending if you're talking about 6 or 7 figure potential deal size. And with spending so much for a lead, just one lead, there's a ton you can do to invest in increasing your closing rates. They'll even something that will increase closing rates 20% is worth a lot to you with that kind of a lead cost, which is very effective because your competitors don't do it. And anything your competitors don't do and that you can do and that will increase customer experience usually has a pretty big effect. Everybody knows about Google ads and is trying to make those work. It's a whole different idea to just, if you were running Google search ads, to get more out of each lead. And with that, you just have to work a little bit harder to apply a good system to take that lead from a lead to a sale at a better rate, and now you can pay twice as much for a lead on Google search or what have you, or however you're getting leads now, right now. But given that, let's say you spend $250 for an average lead, if you could double your closing rates, obviously you could spend up to $250 in additional efforts and gimmies or follow-ups or whatever to get that done. Obviously, what I'm telling you here is, in a scenario like that where you're paying $250 a lead and you could actually pay $250 per lead more if you could double the closing rate, you could double the closing rate for an additional, $100 or less in terms of additional goodies that you're giving people after they already contact you, and follow-ups, done through follow-up remarketing banner ads that are also a part of your overall sales process once you get this instituted in your business. So with that said, what does this actually look like? Now that I've been talking about the theory here. So there's 2 parts to this. One part is a remarketing ad component, where when somebody contacts your company already through the form or through the phone number on your website, you're going to have an immediate process that's going to spring into place, which with Google Display Network and Google Remarketing that you can do on Google Display Network, which gets your ads across the web. Basically, any place you see a banner ad, you can get on those sites through Google Display Network. with that, you can have it so that through Google Analytics and the remarketing audiences that you can set up there, immediately have any banner ads of choice show up for a person for the next 30 days, while that person's likely thinking over your pitch and the other pitches they may have received, so they decide to end up going with your pitch a higher percentage of the time. Now, how do you do that? Or should I say, what do you actually say, though, in these banner ads to get somebody more likely, 10 to 50% more likely, to end up going with you versus the competitor, or just in general? Because sometimes it's about you versus the competitor, sometimes it's just you versus you, and people a lot of times just buy from nobody because they're not sure about themselves. Of course, there's several main reasons why they don't buy from you when they don't buy. It's either too expensive, or they're not willing to pay the money. They don't know that your offer is the best offer on the market and end up therefore go with somebody else, or they just don't trust you and they go with somebody else and don't buy from anybody. So you can't do anything about the pricing necessarily anyway. So if you just want to get more people to say yes, then you simply just got to get them to understand why you're better and that you're trusted. And then you do that by explaining how other people have vetted you before already, and you can immediately expect more out of each lead that you already have coming in. And so what you are seeking to do is replicate building that trust with the user, building more knowledge, additional supplemental knowledge for that user, so that they end up knowing these things more than they did before for every lead that comes in. And so what I'll do is, as soon as somebody fills out a form on our site or a call, I'm going to immediately have a banner ad that has our awards or ratings on it. So if we have industry awards that people that we're trying to sell to would know of, or sometimes even not, we'll have an ad that mentions it, and then they click on that ad, it drives them to a dedicated landing page that talks about all the rest of our awards and recognitions that we have. Because obviously that would build the user's trust, right? But we don't just stop there. Once they see that ad, maybe the next hour or two or next day, they see another ad that says, what makes us different? See what makes guaranteed PPC different would be like an example of what we have on the banner ad. They click that ad, they end up in another custom landing page that explains how we're different than the competitors. Why the competitors basically suck. It's easier to say why the competitors suck than why you're better than them, because at least then it doesn't sound like self-serving bullshit, basically. And I know that goes contrary to what everybody says. It makes you look weak if you talk bad about the competitors. Trust me, if what your competitors are doing is wrong and like legitimately is shittier, which most of the time that's what the case is, right? People want to know that information. That's like the information they can't find anywhere else. So why don't you tell them? You don't have to name people outright by name. Just say what the other companies do that are ripping you off. Guarantee you, people will thank you for that information, and it'll skyrocket your closing rates once people now know that. And effectively, you can say that in the sales process, but when you are able to have a banner ad like this that promotes this content for the user that they need to know to make an accurate decision on whether they buy from you or buy it all from your market, and it costs a penny to have an ad show up for that person, you're just throwing money away not doing that. It literally costs a penny for a banner ad to show up for somebody who's already contacted you. Therefore, that's why the return is so good here. You're paying $250 for a lead, hypothetically, and not investing a penny to have an ad that says why you're better, to drive them to an article to say why you're better. Virtually, it's free. Anyway, they see that ad, maybe they click on it, maybe they don't. If not, maybe the second time it shows up, they'll click on it, maybe they won't. But then later on, they'll see an ad with a customer testimonial on it, or client testimonial. I usually do the headshot with a testimonial or quote on it, and that's it. It's not meant to generate a sale in and itself. These are just confidence boosters. They see that, the next day they see another testimonial. The next day they see another testimonial. I'll have at least 7 testimonials in a row like that, because the thought here is, holy shit, this company really is awesome. They have all these people speaking their graces here. They have to be the best one. You're going to make it so stupid simple that you're the best person in the niche for what you sell, that they can come to no other conclusion. You can artificially create this for your company just through the mechanism I'm talking about here. And even if you have a weak salesperson, this will make up for it in a large degree. It'll make up for a weak salesperson, because everything they need to know to buy from you is all taken care of in this automated follow-up that gets kicked off immediately as soon as they become a lead, or an opportunity, if you will. So this process right here, if you replicate this for your business, I guarantee you get at least 10% higher closing rates on the same exact lead you have now, if not 50%. And generally it's going to be closer to that 50% number. So I said here though that you can double your sales with this B2B marketing strategy. The other half of this, to get to where you're going from 50% increase in closing rate and then therefore 50% increase in sales, is the direct mail piece to this. Now this is something nobody does, or very few people. That is, as soon as somebody becomes a lead and you've reached out to them and talked to them already, you should have something in your CRM that you use to handle and manage your leads, or just in general, that once you talk to them, as soon as you're done talking to them, you should have a package that's sent to their door. By FedEx, don't get cheap and do USPS or UPS, because it doesn't have the same psychological effect on the user. We know because we tested both ways, and we send FedEx ourselves for a reason. And you pack that box with some company swag. I highly recommend that you write a book on the topic to show your authority. And they get this FedEx package. Everybody is gonna, know that came in, because when a FedEx package comes in, you always know it. It's just one of those things. They open it up, and then they see who it came from. The goodwill that you're gonna get from the user, having that you have taken the time to give them a box full of free stuff, not just that, ultimately tries to reinforce your authority in the space, but helps the user decide. Because going back to what we were saying before, what makes us different, you can print out a whole PDF, what we'll do is we'll print off something like that and then put it in a clear plastic binder to keep it together, and put that in the box as well, so that they have something to read to help them make their decision. Then of course you replicate the award/ratings by having a page in there about that. And then you can have a page that lists all your testimonials on it. Then it has the book that you've written, and then it has a calendar, and then it has a fancy pen. And try to, obviously if you're spending $250 for a lead, you could spend another $125 on that package and still not be losing money if it were able to increase your closing rates 50%. You can put not a shitty pen in there. You could put a good quality pen that cost you $10 each in bulk, and they actually, tie what you did with that and send them a good quality pen with your services or products being good quality. A lot of people, the first thing they want to do when I tell them stuff like this is, what can we do to make it cheaper? Well, can we send a cheaper pen? Do we really have to send a book? And then pretty soon you're not doing anything. It's the thought that counts here. The thought of you sending them a package with some nice things in it is what's going to get you your 50% increase in conversion rate. It's not necessarily the information itself, even though that does play a part. More of the reason why you're going to get a 50% increase in sales is the thought of the package coming in, and that no other competitor would be willing and so diligent to send it to them. It shows that you give a shit, basically. And that the experience of working with you, buying from you, is going to be a good experience, because somebody who doesn't give a rat's ass wouldn't be sending a package out to you without being requested or asked to, especially since the other companies don't do that. So that in itself will give you another 10 to 50% closing rate on your leads. Now, you could take that increase in closing rate and run with it, or you could maintain your closing rate and just simply raise your prices. And that could be even more profitable and making even more profit from this. So instead of closing twice as many deals, you double your prices because your sales system's so damn good. Trust me, people are willing to spend more money when they think the value of what you offer, when it comes to B2B stuff especially, is there. I mean, some people buy on price, but more people just want to buy quality when it comes to B2B. And you give them, you know, a whole list of testimonials, like 50. By the way, the more testimonials you have, the better it works. So in that package, if you could send them a list of 50 people that have spoken well about you, they're thinking there's no possible way this company can't not suck. And so, lost my train of thought here a little bit. Ultimately, all in all here, you essentially have something here that your competitors don't do, and with all this stuff coming at them, all this material, all this information, going back to the pricing, because nobody else is doing this, and you're the one that they've seen 50 times more than anybody else in terms of the banner ads, in terms of the package, they're going to think you're so much higher quality because you've done that. You can literally double your prices. I've seen somebody do just that. Because ultimately, if you double the closing rate, you're going to have trouble handling the business, so what do you do right away? You raise your prices. I've seen somebody literally do this. And specifically, it was in the marketing field where somebody did that, where it was harder to scale. Otherwise, in a lot of other businesses, it wouldn't be so hard to scale. They would just take the additional closing rate and just, that's it, so to say. Because people are, I'll tell you, more people should just raise their prices instead of take the higher closing rate, because you'll have more profit from that, but people are scared to raise the prices. You should always try to double your price and just see what happens. And then if you know you double the price and closing rates change, then you know you can't do it. But to throw away doubling of your fees or what you're selling your products for because you never simply tested it, that's just idiotic. But anyway, this is so beautiful because it takes a lot of effort and money and time and all that to make your products or services physically better, assuming they're pretty good already. Whereas it takes very little work. Anybody can do what I'm telling you about here, and they think your product or service is better just through the perception you've created for yourself and for your brand here. So what we do is we make these packages in advance, and our salesperson's trained to just, the person, you know, as soon as we talk to somebody, the package goes out. Remarketing wise, remarketing kicks off automatically. It's like a salesperson working on the background for you, another one, you know, that is unpaid or that you don't have to pay. But between the package and the remarketing, you're talking about, even with a really good package that you're sending out, you're talking about under $100, something of which that can create so much value in the user's mind that you can literally have a strong chance of doubling your prices and without having your closing rates change. So, and in our business, a lead, is costing, I should say, around $500 in our advertising space. So it's an incredible ROI, even though we're paying like $80 with the remarketing ad cost and the package itself. But we're getting $250 worth of value out of it because it doubles the closing rates effectively. So, like I said, it's more likely to double your closing rate than it is to give you a 20% bump. The more you put it on into this, of course, the more likely it is to be doubling versus 20% increase in closing rates. Mainly, the more testimonials you include, the better the results. The better the writing of what you do that makes you different that you do there, the more the closer to the doubling in closing rates that you're actually going to get. If you don't have any awards or anything, then you're just going to mention your Google reviews or your BBB A+ rating there. It works in replacement and it's basically just as good anyway. But obviously there's nuance to this, because you could do it half-assed or you could go with your full ass and get a lot better results. If you want the doubling in closing rates, you go ahead and do it to the best of your ability. You'll basically get there. And if you don't, just reach out to me and I'll try to help you. No charge, of course, and at least help put you on the right track. But this is something you should be putting into place right away for your business. before you think about getting another new customer or another new lead or buying another new lead, this is something you could do over the course of the next 30 days, putting your system together, or 90 days if you want to kind of be more realistic. That's there and it works automatically in the background. That, if you're making a couple million, a few million a year in sales, can literally double your sales without having any more ongoing advertising cost to put the package together, a little bit for the remarketing that you're doing, yes, but respectively no advertising cost to get new leads into the system, into your company anymore. So, and it'll make finding new customers easier because you can pay more for a lead now, which is the other side benefit of all of this. So anyway, that's the B2B marketing strategy that doubles your sales. See, marketing to people who are already a lead/opportunity to increase your closing rates and therefore increase how much money you're making and sales you're making at your company based upon the leads you already have coming in, just doing more from them and with them. If you have any questions about anything I covered here today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. By the way, if you have any ad-related questions or marketing questions thereof, you can always easily ask me, and I'll do my best to try to answer your questions. I have 20 plus years of marketing experience at this particular point in my life here, and can do my best. Of course, working with hundreds upon hundreds of companies, can help you out the best I can. If you like my channel here, by the way, you should not only subscribe to it because it is packed full of information just like this that can give you and offer you turnkey ways to make more money in your business, but you should also follow my work on my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, because if you like my channel, you'll love my blog as well as my written material on entrepreneur.com, as I have an ongoing column there that I write. If you're looking for an ad agency, by the way, to get you results, to set up ad campaigns like I talked about here, that specifically tap into every single person who's a lead at your company, I can put this together for you, and we do not, at our agency, charge you any money unless your sales physically go up. No, there's no catch per se, other than you have to be doing something that we know we can get results with. But if we can, we'll offer you a certain amount of increase in leads or sales up front before charging a fee. Reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com if you're interested in seeing if we can work together. I'll give you a free analysis on your campaigns and evaluate what you want to do, and we'll see if we can work together. As a side, if you don't want to work with an ad agency per se, but you want to get great results, we also offer campaign templates, in that if we've worked in your market already, why not just take our templates that we know already work for your market in terms of ad templates, campaign templates, landing page templates that we have used in your market already and that already get proven results. In that, such as if you were in junk removal, we've already worked in that market. You could just, instead of working with our agency to have us manage your campaign long term, you could just take all the templates we use for that industry, of which that generate a lead cost at a certain known lead cost, and get those same results for yourself in your own account at a fraction of the cost. Ultimately, if you are trying to get good results in your market and we've worked in it already, you'd be, really, it's just a no-brainer to use our templates, because it cuts out all the time and effort you have to figure out, that you have to spend to figure out what works in your market. We've already figured it out. And you can just use the ironclad version that works already. They actually work so well, we got people using these templates to start up other businesses, selling leads or whatever. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me as well. I'll gladly tell you what markets we've gotten results in and what you can do. Furthermore, if you are looking to work with us as an agency to manage your ads though, and you don't think you can afford necessarily the fees, or don't want to pay fees to an ad agency to manage your account, by the way, we do have a couple other options. Whereas first of all, if you are ready to partner with us, we can take 1 to 10% of your sales growth, and there is no fees other than you're giving us a percentage of your sales. We partnered with several companies like this already, all of which are doing great, that we can give references of, and that we would own a small part of the company as well with that, 1 to 10% of the company. If you want to see if we can work with you on that level, certainly reach out to my firm at guaranteedppc.com as well. And furthermore, if you don't necessarily maybe want to do that, but you would like to let us share the results of what we would be able to do with your account on this channel, we also are looking for volunteers where we want to do that as well. Given we got people that ask all the time on this channel, can you show us real examples of how we're, of the stuff that you're mentioning working? And we can't do that unless we have a volunteer or somebody willing to share their campaign results on this channel publicly. And obviously most people don't want to do that, but we would give you free services in exchange for a case study like that if you were willing to do it already. So you can also reach out to me at my firm as well for that if you're interested in that. You got to be able to, of course, have not a brand new idea, you have a stable company for us to do that, because it's going to be a longer term case study. But if you're interested in that, reach out to us as well. I'll wrap it up with that though. Hopefully you like this video. I'd appreciate it if you would give the video a like on the way out, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.